Hey guys, it's Core Ross, and today's Rainbow Six Siege video is all about an operator concept I've had rattling around in my head for the last year. So you might have noticed that I've fallen in love with 3D printing, and my most recent project is actually Deamis's Revolver, which looks sensational, and I've also got a dedicated 3D printing channel now too. But anyway, this has led to a really good, or at least what I think is a really good operator idea, and I would love to share it with you today. This should take, I think, less than 5 minutes, so let's jump in. I'm going to use official Ubisoft concept art here just to make the video a bit more interesting to look at, and links to all this artwork will be in the description below if you want to go check it all out. And they represent what I think this operator would look like. So let's dive right in. This would be an attacking operator, but they would not have a main gadget that they can pull out and do anything with. Instead, they can duplicate defender gadgets from the opposing team. So let's go through a couple of scenarios. Let's say I spawn in and I want to get some flank protection because I think someone's going to jump out of a window at some point. Instead of putting a claymore down, I'm going to 3D print a frost trap because there's a frost on the defending team, and I place that outside the window. And of course, someone jumps out from defense, they get caught in it. Or let's say we're placing down a diffuser right now, well, I could 3D print a castle barricade and put that up on one of the doors. Or maybe I'm moving through the building and I want some flank protection, I could put out a Capcan trap or maybe an Ella concussion mine. Now let's talk limitations because this could get OP very quickly. So first of all, you'd only be able to print off one gadget of each type. So let's say I printed off a Capcan trap and placed it. I would not be able to print another one off. I'd also have to choose what I'm going to 3D print and print it. And then once it's printed, I cannot make another one until I place whatever I've printed off. Whether it's something you throw, like a magnet from Wamai or something like that, or something you place down. Then you can start printing something else. It also would not be instant, it would take a bit of time, and it'd also make it so that you're actually making noise, because 3D printers are very noisy, so when you're making that gadget, it would make a little bit of noise. And then the next limitation is actually one I really like, because it would mean that this operator plays differently every single round, because you would only be able to clone the defender gadgets that are actually on the enemy team. So if there's no frost, you can't make frost traps, but if there is a frost, you can make them. So I think this would actually end up being one of the most varied operators because it would just kind of constantly changing every single round with the options you could be deploying. And I did toy with the idea that maybe you could also replicate your friendly team's gadgets. So imagine you had a fuse in your team and you replicated the fuse, you could use it. But then I thought, probably not a good idea. Although if the whole concept ended up being very weak, that could be interesting. Imagine spawning in with a thermite and you can also make yourself an exothermic charge. That would be quite funny. Or a cluster charge, or Amaru's grapple. But yeah, I don't think that's a good idea. I think limit it to just one of every defender gadget that's available. And it could be as well that if there's no main gadget on the enemy team, you can make motion sensors or impact grenades or things like that. However, attacker repick does exist, so you'd be able to figure out what you're going to be able to clone before you even spawn in, and if this operator would be needed. Now let's talk loadout here. So I think I'd actually choose something from the past, but it was trying to be futuristic, which is weapons with caseless ammunition. They tried this for a while, but it just didn't really end up taking off. Maybe it will in the future someday, but I think this would be a perfect link in with this character who's trying to be high tech. I can see their backstory being that they're actually making their own ammo. So caseless ammo weaponry would be quite good on this character. And then it would just come down to how weak or powerful the replication of defender gadgets end up being, because you could easily be just limited to say 3, and you could print off say like a Capcan trap, a castle barricade, a Valkyrie cam or something like that, or you could easily push it higher. But I could imagine like having, let's say, a Maestro cam, a Valkyrie cam, mines, traps, frost mats. It might get a little bit bad eventually and a bit overpowering. So yeah, I think keep it to probably like 3, maybe 4, and creation time for each gadget could be like 20 seconds or something like that, which might be too long too, but I wouldn't want this person just spamming out different stuff and chucking them all over the place. And like I said, they'd make some noise while they're doing it as well. But the result would be extremely, I think, unique gameplay, where you suddenly have all these defender gadgets, and we've seen this kind of with Brava, suddenly becoming attacker gadgets, and could be used in all different new ways, like frost traps outside windows and stuff like that. However, I don't know if this operator could ever actually be made, because I don't know how this system would work for switching to different gadgets in this operator. And then every time there's a new defender gadget that comes out, do you have to like go back and work it back into this operator, or is there a way to do that all automatically? So I wonder if this would just be quite literally impossible to do in Rainbow Six Siege, but I love the idea. So anyway guys, let me know what you think of this 3D printing operator and any good ideas for names.